Hey people, today is a little bit of Frugalfatguy Chili made from almost all natural homegrown ingredients. Tomatoes, for one. These are the ones that aren't in the best condition, so rather than put them in a salad or something, they'll go into the chili. So what we do here is, this one has a little mess there, and just cut a little X. This is only supposed to be the skin, depending on how sharp your knife is. Cut a little X in the end opposite the stem. These are supposed to be some variety of cherry tomato, even though they're rather large. They're not plum, even though they're almost that big. And then a little slit, and this becomes obvious later. This one's getting a little soft, even though it's not totally ripe, so we'll throw him in the chili. This one's not very appealing, but that's going to come off in my hands when I squeeze the bottom out through the split. That this part, the stem part's going to stay in my hand, so that's not going to go in the chili. So I usually like to do things in real time, but for obvious reasons here I can't, because I already did most of those tomatoes. And they're going to go in. I'm going to try and keep the camera on the tripod here, take you for a walk. They're going to go into boiling water here, rapidly boiling water. I have one of these strainer things inside it. I'll do all this one-handed. Take that out of there. Try to watch what I'm doing through the viewfinder, which is not a fun way to do it. And get some of these in there. I'll probably do 2 loads. That's probably about half. So we'll drop them in the boiling water for about 2 minutes. In they go. And we'll let that go for 2 minutes, and I'll bring you back then. Okay, 2 minutes are up. Without making too much of a mess, try to get this over to the sink. Dump those little buggers in there, let them start to cool off, because they're very hot to handle at this point to take the skins off them. And we'll give these 2 minutes and then drain those out of there the same way. And then as soon as they cool off enough to handle, I'll start peeling them. Okay, we're back, I hope. This batch had their 2 minutes. So, hold this one over the bowl. That in this bowl for now, even though I need to use this bowl. Now, I have here an oversized zucchini. They're never supposed to get that big. Maybe half the size, 8 inches maybe, is kind of like the ideal size. So this is going to become a zucchini boat in the oven. It's going to get sliced in half, and then I'll have tomato and onion and chopped meat and sausage and cheese and all kinds of ingredients like that. But the only way to get it to cook through without spoiling the topping completely, because the topping is already mostly cooked, or raw vegetables that don't need to cook long. So being that we have all this hot water, I'm going to dump it in here. And being that it's so large, it's only going to boil half at a time. So a half hour or so from now, I'll have to come around and put the other half in there, and you know, turn it over and put the other half in there. So I don't know if the tomatoes are ready to handle yet, but there's one way to find out. I have to have another bowl. This thing here I picked up at a yard sale. I think it's originally supposed to have the rest of it. It has a lid, but it's supposed to have the pot that goes with the pot itself, I guess. But I don't know. I have plenty of pots, so I'm not concerned about that. So, all right, now I need another bowl, or else I need to get these tomatoes out of here. Let's do it this way. I like to keep the work area clean, as you may notice. I don't like getting all messy. And here's the thing: I keep compost in, and then just take that out to the compost pile every couple of days. Usually keep a lid on it. All right, I think you can see what's happening. So we grab a tomato. Here's the end I was talking about that had the stem attached originally. Grab that thing there by the hard part. This thing is still very hot. It's the last batch. And just squeeze the guts out. Really hot. And then the stem and the last of the seed stays behind. But in real world, I would suggest you give this time to cool down, because matter of fact, that's what's going to happen. I'm going to come leave this and come back to it in a little while after it cools down a little bit. So anyway, that's as far as this is going to go for today. It's going to sit out for a while until it cools down, and then go in the refrigerator till tomorrow morning. And then it'll go in a crock pot, and the rest of the ingredients will be added depending on how long they take to cook. Chopped meat will go in browned, and then it'll all cook together during the day, and should be good by tomorrow night for dinner. All right, tomorrow. Hey people, it's the next morning. We had this crock pot going since we went to bed last night at 11 o'clock or something. It's on low. Mrs. Frugalfatguy, who doesn't want to show up on camera, already got a little bit ahead of me and put the beans in already. Take off the lid. And what kind of beans did you put in there, honey?
Oh, there's some great northern black-eyed peas and just a variety. It doesn't matter,
peas.
really.
That's this one from a bag.
A lot of people use chili beans in chili, but we don't.
There's the black-eyed peas.
The other bag I don't have.
Great Northern are those white beans, which is mostly what you see in there, big white ones.
Or you can use chili beans, but they're dried beans that come in the pack, and you have to soak them overnight, rinse them off in the morning, and then just add them to the pot.
And we also had more beans in a can, but the executive decision was that we have enough beans in there already. So
if you forget to soak them overnight,
then you can put these in. So we didn't need to use these, but if you need to use these, you would drain them first and then just plop them in the pot. So to the beans and the tomatoes, I'm going to add an onion. And like I say, we don't really need to measure, just put some stuff in there and odds are it won't go bad. It's hard to screw it up. 4 cloves of garlic. These are homegrown. These are I harvested last month, and they're in pretty good shape. They're nice and fresh compared to what you'd buy in a store.
I'd say it's about a total of about a cup and a half of dried beans.
Of dried after they're wet or before?
Before.
So she says it's 1.5 cups of dried beans before they're soaked. So, but then again, it's an estimate. I think she just used what was left in the bags, which is fine. And then here's some more basil, fresh basil. I have these growing on the windowsill, and I have more outside. But if you don't grow these, I mean, you can grow them if you want. They're easy. Just put the seeds in a pot, and you got basil. And I think it's like National Bring Your Bacon to Work month or something in the United States. So we got to put a little bacon in there. And then Mrs. Frugalfatguy is going to put the chili seasoning in later, but I'm going to sneak a little of this in there because I like it much hotter than she does. So put that in there. And then there's eep. And then there's the meat. I buy those big 5-pound things at Aldi's and then separate them. I use the little scale back there, the postal scale, and separate them. So there's 12 ounces here, so there's 1.5 pounds of chopped meat in this bag. And I'm preheating the the stainless steel pan. I have stainless steel and cast iron, and they both work about the same. So I'm using the stainless steel because it's a little deeper. But once this is seasoned, it works as well as cast iron, and there's no need to have all those chemicals from the Teflon and that stuff coming off on your food. So ever since I got this one, I've been using it. And this came as part of a $197 set. I couldn't believe it when I looked at it online. I signed up to test products for either RV.net or Good Sam Club or whatever, and they asked me if I wanted to test step covers for the coach, and I said I'd prefer something that takes a little more interaction, and they suggested something else, and I said sorry to be a pain, but that really doesn't do much either for me. I can't even remember what the second one was. And then she says, how about some cookware? And the handles come off this. It comes with 2 handles, 4 pots, and 4 lids, and it all tucks inside each other to make a small package for traveling, even though it's pretty heavy to travel with on an RV. It has a nice bottom for the price. I mean, it's better, and it's, you know, it really works out well for cooking anything at non-stick. Anyway, so they sent me this thing, and we don't take the coach out enough, so I just kept it in the house. And the first couple of times before it was seasoned well enough, everything stuck, and I'm like, God, this is going to be a piece of crap. And I oiled it and heated it, and there it is. It's in beautiful shape now. So anyway, so I'm going to throw the meat in first, and while that starts to brown, I'm going to put the rest, cut up the rest of these, chop them up, and I'll bring you back in a little while. You don't need to watch me chop vegetables. Okay, here we have the chopped meat, and everything else is chopped up over here. I keep things large. I like to know what I'm eating, kind of. Most of it's going to kind of disintegrate because it's going to be sitting in that pot for quite a while anyway, but I like to know there's actual pieces of food in there. I don't want something that looks like it came out of a blender. So that'll go in here, and then maybe we'll bring it back when everything gets added to the pot. Okay, here we go. The stuff in the pan is going to go in. Now, as I mentioned, the stainless steel pan comes out pretty clean, except for that one spot up there in the corner. We're in good shape. And there's what we look like with the ingredients mixed, and I'll add the red pepper, and then herself will add the chili sauce, chili powder later, and we'll pretty much be ready for dinner. Even if you start with not very many tomatoes, it does plump up. We weren't sure we'd have enough. Thought we might have to add a can of tomato, but this looks like there's going to be plenty. So, good deal. See you for dinner. It's ready. Time to dish it up. It's about 5 p.m. so it's been in there. The tomatoes have been in there since last night at 11, and then the rest of the ingredients went in this morning. And you can see this consistency of it.
That's about enough.
That's about enough. It's very thick. I'll be making some garlic toast to go with mine, and Mrs. Frugalfatguy will have some crackers with hers. And bon appetit. Here, squeak.
Is it off?
That's what I want to be sure of. I don't want it running now. It's supposed to be on hold, and it looks like it is.
Now, are you passing that off as your chili recipe?
No, I'm just passing it off as mostly homegrown from all homegrown.
Yeah, well, it's just
ingredients.
sauce for you.
Huh?
I made it the chili.
Well, you can do it and get to be in the rest of it if you want.
No, I'm not going to come in.
Well, somebody's got it because
I'm not a
the
big
rest of
breaker.
the ingredients we have to get added.
Well, they're not going to get at it until tomorrow.
That's right. You don't have to be seen if you don't want to be seen.
Well, you don't have to be seen either. You can just show your arms.
I don't
instead
show
of that
myself.
big gut.
I don't show my gut usually. This
Oh,
time
why not?
Well, this time I had to because I had a show from the stove over to here. I can't. I had a camera person like some of these other guys. The camera person to follow the pot. But
Yeah, well,
I can't do that with
the
my
guy that does
hand.
all that crap outdoors doesn't have a camera person.
No, this is
Now I
not.
need a dish.
She's everywhere I
Those
have to be.
skins will split.
What? That's right. The nuts are gonna come oozing out into my purple bowl. I'm gonna boil a zucchini in there while it's boiling. I don't know what we're gonna do with all these zoots.
Freeze it.
You can't just keep freezing stuff. You have to have a plan. You gotta know what you're
I
gonna do
do.
with it. What?
Make zucchini bread.
Well, then you already have about 6 of them.
Huh?
Even if you make one a month, that takes you through the next March. I mean, you can't freeze that many, especially when they're unblanched. They're gonna mush by March. Get out of the way, 'cause
I have to finish my stuff here.
you need to get out of the way.
You need to stop taking over the whole kitchen.
Turn on the camera. Past 2 minutes for this
You
blanching.
can wait a minute.
I'm blanching vegetables.
I didn't have breakfast yet.
That's not my fault, honey. It's 10:30.
No, but I
quarter to
should
11.
still be able to use the
You
kitchen.
can, but not in the middle of a video.
This shit isn't always the most important.
But yes, but the tomatoes only need 2 minutes. They can't sit in there all day.